Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the hot rod shop. We're going to do a build update of Travis's 67 Chevelle. We got some new exhaust going in, some plumbing, some supercharger stuff, so let's check it out. We got the car on the lift right now just because Brian's been doing a bunch of exhaust work. We got the bowler transmission. We had to cut into the floor. This thing's so low that basically the engine was elevated. Driveline, there again, super low, so it was going to interfere with everything. So we basically had to cut the entire tunnel out. And that's what we're going through right now, is figuring out how much clearance we need for that. We're gonna leave it open for a little while as we work through some of the exhaust stuff, just in case we want to clearance a little bit more for the exhaust, because all that runs right down the center of the car. And when we're doing work like cutting the floor out to make room for the driveline, I like to start by cutting the least amount out as possible, just to get the driveline clearing, because we can always cut more. So it sounds like a simple concept, but it's a good practice to follow when doing modifications. We've also got the Texas Speed LS7 and the Whipple supercharger all bolted together and on here as we work through some of the stuff like radiator hoses. We got our air cleaner set up pretty well roughed in, just in case something is gonna change. We've been working a lot on plumbing. This car's gonna have a lot of plumbing. In front we have our condenser, then we have our LTR for the supercharger cooler, and then of course our radiator and our brushless fans. All this is PWR setup stuff. Kind of a lot of mock-up. We're not trying to completely reinvent the wheel on this car. We're gonna just use the stock inner fenders. They clear the tires that we have. That's okay. We're not gonna go crazy building all these panels. Just make it clean for what you're gonna see, but we obviously can't hide everything. So one thing we actually just got is, I couldn't find a supercharger coolant reservoir that would fit good in here and primarily have like all the fittings come out on the right side. It's all just sitting here now. We just got it bent and ready to go, ready to get welded together. But Derek drew this up and had Sen cut it out. It's kind of just like a nice little tab and slot setup. So like we can fit all this together really nice and have the corners come in good. So that kind of construction works really well, and then you outside corner weld it. It just looks all natural. So doing it this way is going to allow us, like, some of the fittings are going to come out the bottom, some of the fittings are going to come out the back, and we can run hoses on the inside in between the fender and the inner fender and hide a lot of that stuff. We're going to do this as a pressurized system, so it'll have basically a regular radiator cap on it, but it'll all be exposed. We're also doing a little sight glass since it is pressurized. When the coolant pump is running, I always like to be able to see the level of that, and I just personally like the look of a sight glass in a more mechanical environment like this. These master cylinders are also really cool. It's like all billet. Master Power Brakes makes those. Yeah, they're just super clean. The fittings come right out the bottom, so we can run the lines down, do a couple of our Sanders U-drill clamps just as it kind of floats, and then jump into the frame, and it seems to work out really well. Yeah, just a lot of stuff has been getting figured out. We've also been working on, well, we got steering put together now, wrapped around the headers good, so that all worked out really nice. Been working on, this is an engine oil cooler. It's more of like a heat exchanger style that's inside of the radiator with the coolant. That's some big plumbing stuff that we gotta kind of plan for early on, just keep good clearances with the headers and everything. These are kind of cool too. We're gonna run Dapper headlights, and they 3D print this headlight. So this side obviously it just looks like a normal headlight, but because these LEDs or whatever ones we end up picking, they stick farther back because they actually have like a coolant fan. Just planning out this coolant reservoir, and now I know what we have to stay clear of, and we don't have to worry about, working around a finished headlight. So those were super handy. All this printing stuff, it's really great when you know how to use it. We'll go underneath now and kind of show you what's been going on down there. But pretty well wraps up where we're at on the engine bay. Just working towards more plumbing, getting more stuff nailed down, do a little bit of finish work here and there, and yeah, it's looking good. We're making good progress on it. The world's slowest car lift. So underneath here you can see kind of some more of the plumbing. So we have the condenser, we have the LTR, we have the radiator, we have the engine oil cooler, and we have a transmission cooler, and we got to pack all that up front here where there's surprisingly not a lot of space. So we found this transmission cooler that fit really well. Definitely has plenty of cooling capabilities, so it should work out really well. What's great about using these computer controlled transmissions is we also have the ability to monitor the temp. We'll be able to watch it and make sure it's not going to be an issue. I don't think it will be in this application, but it's good to be able to have that data. You can also see how we utilize some of our line clamps to come across here. You know, all these different braided hoses are different diameters. So that's kind of the beauty of our U-drill stuff. You measure the OD of your hose, drill it out, drill the clamp out that you need, and you're good to go. If we would have used stainless in this application, it would have been a slightly different diameter. So we have all those in our inventory. You can use them and get through whatever we need to do. This is another good spot, like kind of right off the oil pan. I really like how those look. You can see both clamps there to where we changed to a double, drill those out, and it just works really nice. It's clean, it's cohesive, it matches the singles that are up front. These are some brackets that we kind of built to go off of bolts, just an easy way to do it. But that always turns out good. We'll probably end up Cerakoting these particular ones, just kind of the style of the build, but we'll see. We get it all together and we always have that as an option. Another little tricky spot, you can see some of Derek's little templates up here. These headers are so tight, but we need to run an oil cooler. The other option would be to do a remote oil filter. We wanted to use this adapter block and just keep the oil filter right here just for the simplicity of it. So we're having some custom hard lines bent to get down, and then we'll do our soft line from there. Use more of our line clamps all the way up front, and that'll work out really well. These ultimate headers are made for this motor chassis combination, so it keeps them up nice and tight. And that's something that's really important on this car because it's so low that we need to maintain as much ground clearance as possible. And it always drives me nuts when you have headers hanging down. Long tubes, sometimes it's hard to avoid, but we're working really hard to do that. We actually cut this cross member out and pushed it up even farther than how it came to us, just so we could get a little more ground clearance. But Brian's been doing a really good job of bringing this to life, and Travis also wanted an X pipe. This is like a flex coupler. This is a bellows style flex coupler. What that does is allows the engine to move a little bit and isolate it from the rest of the exhaust system. And stainless heats and expands and contracts a lot more than mild steel does, aluminized stuff. So it helps to avoid cracking. Anytime we're doing stainless exhaust, those are somewhere and primarily closer to the header. And the X pipe kind of gives it a little bit of a scavenging effect. Not an exhaust expert by any means, but X pipe is very commonly used. The idea is as this side fires, the exhaust gases are traveling through here, and it's essentially creating a vacuum that's pulling on this side as it flows. And so they're constantly like pulling on each other, and it creates a little bit of a different sound too. But Brian fabricated that from scratch. I mean, that was literally 290s and he built all that. So it turned out really good. You can see like that goes up and out of the way so we can make as much ground clearance just right through this section of the frame. And then it comes back down a little bit because we have the floor, but we're still above the frame rail. Then it kicks up right away. There again, ground clearance, just keeping it as tight as possible. This whole thing is going to be removable too. So we use these V-band clamps for that. Those things work really well. Travis had Flowmasters probably all the way back in high school, so he's kind of wanting to replicate that sound. So this is like a very classic Flowmaster chambered muffler. I don't know if you can call it a muffler, honestly. Another thing we're trying to do, I swear we put exhaust cutouts on every single car we do because it just brings out the little kid in everybody. So we're gonna try and squeeze these in here. I got a 2 1/4 cutout just because I knew we were so limited on space, but it's really just about sound. I mean, it's not like it's gonna open it up, but we're gonna have to tuck this sucker right in here and basically just do like a little turn down. The exhaust will have to go over the frame rail, but there's literally nowhere else to put these things unless we start cutting into the floor, and it's a whole deal. So we're looking at it today and just feeling like we needed to move on a little bit and come back to it, just keep building the system, which sometimes you have to do when you're doing this kind of custom work. You get hung up on something and you just stew on it a little bit. It's like you got to just step back, get some stuff done that you know how to do, know how to get done, get some momentum back, and then come back to it. It's, no matter how experienced you are, everybody goes through that. We decided to bring the exhaust under the axle, which I really don't like doing, but there's just almost no other option. Running a 3-inch pipe, Travis wants to be able to basically stuff this thing on the ground. He told me already that we'll put bump stops in. I'm gonna set it up to where it can ride, and then he's probably gonna lower it so that it bottoms out because he just is so obsessed with having it low. Which, whatever, that's fine. That's cool, I get it. So that being said, I didn't want to do anything over the top because he's just gonna smash it into the floor pans anyway. So we gotta go underneath, make sure we have enough to droop it out, to change a tire. We're trying to make that happen without having to take the exhaust out. That also allowed us to just stay away from the shock, and it's just gonna work out better in this situation. We had a custom stainless tank made for this because Travis and I don't like when exhaust comes under the rail right here. For whatever reason on these Chevelles, it's really obvious to see that. That's how the factory did it. As soon as he said it, I noticed, because in my 68, I have the same thing. It's like, it just stands out for some reason. We narrowed the fuel tank a little bit, and now we can run that exhaust right down the sides and keep it tucked inside the frame rail. That also gave us kind of a favorable exhaust exit for what he wanted to do. So it's gonna be just kind of subtly come out the back. We talked about doing like a little valance across here too, so that the exhaust actually will come down and just kick out of this little valance. But it's all working out really good. The stainless tank is nice. It's got in-tank pump, so it's, you know, it's got all the LPH that we need for the supercharger. Yeah, it's all -8 plumbing. Yeah, just weld bungs right into this. This is actually a really cool way to do it. It allowed us to tuck the tank up super tight to the floor because we don't have to run all the hoses above. So Zach just welded these right into the tank and then plumbed it all internally. So we just got that stubbed out, run that up to our regulator, and that'll work out really good. That's gonna be a lot of plumbing, more plumbing. We've also got a new line clamp that's gonna go on this car for the first time that I believe will be really popular. I'm excited to have it. Speaking of line clamps, here's some more of our clamps here. We ended up using this stock emergency brake cable. So Brian drilled out some of our U-drills to mount those cables. It got really good. I kind of had to custom route all these cables and everything to get back. So everything changes, you know. I really like using these particular exhaust hangers. They're like stereotypical muffler shop hangers, but they just work, they literally work the best. Vibrant makes these stainless rods that go into those hangers. And so you're stainless on stainless for the welding, and they're just rock solid. They don't fail. Yeah, it's looking good. Nice and clean under here. Well thought out. I mean, we're gonna do a couple of driveline hoops on this too, just for safety. Figure out how to put those in here. Chances are he'll have a couple kids in the back, and just a good thing. Probably do something off of here. The charger's got like a teardrop looking one that we did, so that might end up doing that same trick there. And then you can just make them, just do something solid right off the floor pan. So we might do that in the front. Basically just a cage for it. I mean, yeah, pretty awesome car. This is just about exactly what I want to do to my car someday. I mean, honestly, it's pretty much identical. So thanks, Travis. Thank you for a clean canvas to try out everything on. Thanks for watching the video. If you like what you see, give it a like. If you have a question, ask it. We're trying to follow up with all of our comments. We got all sorts of social media stuff going on, so you can stay up to date on all these builds. Welcome back to the channel. It's gonna catch on, I'm telling you. Every YouTuber soon, they're gonna be saying it. Probably should not cross my arms. It's too serious.